There's two types of leaders in this world. There's those that obsess over every little thing and are frustrated at all times. And then there are those who are obsessed over every little thing, but are not frustrated at all times. Everyone wants to work with and for someone they enjoy being around. When I think about leading a life of significance, I don't think about money. I think about all the people that can be changed by the impact that I've made in their lives.
Okay. So the next question is, okay, let's say we know the concept of the business and we know how things like can be, should be, how long it takes to build their great. My question is, help me or guide me as to like, what should we already know the basics of my focus, but like in the operational world, without thinking of the consulting, what is my focus? What should I not care? What should I not? It's not that I take it personal to a certain extent, because I've learned to like slowly like stop doing that. But what else do I do to follow company goals, which are two of them, new ones coming up, of making everyone a professional and making sure that we are driven by success. So if I'm trying to do two things, which I'm all about, like that is literally representation of me. So what do I care about? What do I not care about? What should my focus be on? Like, how do I get the team to get us somewhere besides just me being behind them? Like, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it?
You just let it go. You literally just let it go.
Okay.
Like the thing about leadership is that there's two types of leaders in this world. There's those that obsess over every little thing and are frustrated at all times. And then there are those who are obsessed over every little thing, but are not frustrated at all times. You have to choose which side of the aisle you want to be on. And so I've just chosen to be obsessed over everything, but not to be frustrated over anything. And it's a very, very difficult place to be. It's very hard to be that person. It's very hard to say, I know that you're not hitting the expectation, but I'm not going to be frustrated because I'm going to lead us through this process. Now, what do I ask? I ask, is the person incompetent? Is the person incapable? Or is the person just unwilling? If they're incompetent, am I willing to train them? If no, then they have to be gone. Are they trainable? If no, they have to be gone. So that's the incompetent. Are they capable? Like, can they even do the job, right? If I asked you to go and work at a fire station, but you can't even lift a ladder, you're incapable. You're competent. I know I have to pick up the ladder, but I just can't pick up the ladder. You're incapable of doing that job. So you have to be gone because you don't meet the requirement. And then the last one is, are you unwilling? Well, if the person's competent, they're trainable, they've been trained, they're capable, you've asked them if they're capable, and they just don't do it, then that just means that they're not willing to do it. And very rarely are people in the unwilling to do category. Those people are the ones that say stuff like, that's not in my job description. I don't really want to do that. You know where you hear this a lot in sales? Hey, you got to do 100 cold calls. Oof, I don't want to do 100 cold calls. I'm scared, right?
So that's what scares me. That's not scares me, but that's where I kind of sit right now. We know that people are competent. Like, I'm not worried about that part right now with the team. Are you capable of doing it? That's in a gray area, because that's them learning up the curve of like maturing into like not only leadership, but their skill set, their craft, their thing, like just learning more, developing. Like, that's a gray area. And that's kind of like the one where you're like, you get off a little bit because you just need to like learn a little more, right? Like, just like I had to. But the one that's the scariest is the unwilling, because based on like things that we've done, projects, tasks, and even that efficiency chart that I put out, there is a certain level of unwillingness of like, I have to do this again. Oh, I don't want to do that. Or I'm just going to half-ass it and turn it in anyway. So there's this sense of, I'll get it to when I can. I'll do it if I have to, and maybe you'll remind me 5 times, or I'll half-ass turn something in and think that that's okay. And it's more of like, and then I start thinking, I'm like, is it because you're turning it into me? Like, would you turn in work like that to your boss, like Louis Scott? Because that's a true thing.
Is it objectively half-ass, or is it half-ass to?
No, objectively, like you see a chart and your instructions is fill it out. And then you get to look at it and it's like, you're supposed to do that. You get instructions, fill it out for 5 days, fill out the time you started, the time you ended, the task you did, what department did you do it for? Yes or no, did you complete it? The results across the board is there's more than half of it's blank. It wasn't done for 5 days. You wrote checked emails 3 hours. that isn't going to tell you anything, right? Maybe
Mhm.
that was my, and I told people when I was doing one-on-ones, I was like, my mistake was maybe I said, I didn't tell you, specify how many emails or who you wrote it to. I'll take that fault. But tell
Mhm.
me why it is that you didn't feel the need to do 5 days. What is the need? Why did you not do blah, blah, blah? So today, something that I'm going to tell them at the Monday meeting is it came to the realization that a lot of them don't speak up. Like if they don't know how to do something or they are confused or whatever it is, they don't say anything. They're like, I'm just gonna wait until you remind me or you get on me really bad. And
Mhm.
then I'll say, I just didn't really know how to do it. Or
Well, the
I just
thing is
didn't
that,
think I should have done it.
but that sounds like a competency thing, right? Competency is not a negative word. If you are you can be incompetent or ignorant of something, even if you're competent and not ignorant of something else. Like I could know very well how to do X thing, but I don't know how to do Y thing. And I think that the question that you have to ask yourself is, am I taking that they can do Y and assuming that they can do X? And that's a very dangerous thing to do. So somebody could be really good at taking notes, but be very terrible at sending emails. Somebody could be really good at doing emails, but be very terrible at taking notes. Somebody could be very good at events and planning and be very terrible at, showing up properly. Like not one thing doesn't necessarily mean the other thing, right? We
Okay,
all
so
have skill
stop
sets in certain
assuming.
areas.
So maybe
Mhm.
what I need to do is stop connecting the dots as a whole. Like not only did I have to break down each employee to be their own person, which should have done at the beginning, but now I need to also break down the task for a skill
Mhm.
set. Like
Do
it
you
requires
know?
this skill set.
I want to interrupt you because I really want to drive this point home. Do you know how many times I asked Kim and Bernie about sending the books this month?
A million. I don't know.
Like literally 10, 12 times.
Yeah.
It's only the 19th of the month. And I asked
Mhm.
them 12 times, including today, did the books go out? You have to stop making the assumption that just because a person is a professional and is an adult, they have the maturity level to actually accomplish the goals that you've set for them.
Okay.
You as a leader, you're the one that gets paid. You're the leader, right? You are going to follow up with them until they either do it or they quit. That's the way I do things.
Yeah.
See, I don't do that again. I don't do that with you because I don't have to do that with you. But you're a leverage person. What you don't see is my daily talks with everyone else on the team, my
Yeah.
daily talks with our leadership team at the law firm, my daily talks with the people who work closest to me. I am going to follow up with you until you do it, or you're going to quit.
So I guess that's where like I was trying to get away from that to not be like too
That's not
micromanaging.
micromanaging, though. Micromanaging would be you go in there and start printing labels yourself, start finding the attorneys yourself,
Like
start
doing the work.
sending envelopes. That's micromanaging.
Okay. Okay.
All I'm asking is, did you accomplish the goal that we set? I'm going to do it
Okay.
such a day. Hey, we got the goal getting ready. I don't see anything moving. We got the goal. If they see, I asked Kim and Bernie multiple times about the books because they were just sitting in boxes.
Yep.
Hey guys, those things need to be going out Friday. Where are we on this? No, we're going to get to it. We're working on other things. Okay, the books are all in the boxes. Why are you waiting to? I'm not waiting till last minute. We're still accumulating the names and this. That's it. They were giving me good reasons. I said, all I'm saying is it's got to be done by Friday.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not micromanaging them by asking them a question. That's not micromanagement.
I
If I
think
ask you,
it's my definition or my assumption and definition of certain words that I'm like, who am I? It's like a catch 22. Like, who am I trying to be as a leader? What am I trying not to make sure I do so that it works really well? But at the
what's
same
the
time,
answer? What's the
it's
answer? Who
like
do you want to be?
I want to be a leader that I don't have to ask 20 times and that you eventually get to the point where you know that
Mhm.
the standard is so high that you're like, I will do X, Y, and Z and more because I know that either Val would do it or that's what she would appreciate me doing as an employee and part of the team.
You're going to get that. You're going to get that when we have more employees who you can pay for, or when we've been in business long enough where you have built them.
Okay.
That's when you'll have that. You're just not going to have that today.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that today. It's just not going to happen.
I know.
And so you can obsess over the little things and be frustrated, or you could obsess over the little things and not be frustrated. The difference is a choice.
Yeah,
I choose not to be
I feel like I
frustrated.
don't want to get to the point of like I don't care. because
But that's not what I
like I
said. I
want
said
to care. I
I
want to
didn't.
care and I want to be
But
involved.
that was not even an option. It's obsess over it and be frustrated, or obsess over it and not be frustrated. I never get to the point where I don't care, even when people don't do anything. I care so much. I'm going to keep asking you the question over and over and over. And if you think I'm micromanaging, do the damn job.
Okay.
That's the attitude. And in the meantime, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna laugh.
In the meantime, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna pull out my hair for freaking
No, but the
I
thing
mean,
is,
yeah,
the best thing
I
you
think
know,
I'm getting to the point where I'm like I'm going through like stages of learning it, especially with the team. It's like I gotta know who you guys are. I gotta know where your skill set's at. It's like the same thing that I'm teaching. I'm
Mhm.
like living it, so it's hard, it's easier to teach it than it is to like live it and like appreciate
100%.
basically like the pain of the journey of like I have to sit down with you and like literally show you. And like today I did that in my one-on-ones. I was like, I'm gonna do this differently because if I don't, it's just gonna not work. So I sat down and I was like, this is how you pull a report. This is how you build this. This is what Monday looks like. And so I
Mhm.
explained like point by point. And they're like, okay. And I told them, and I said, you have the liberty to tell me you did not explain it in the right way, or I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Mhm.
And in that case, then I can help you. But if you don't tell me how I can help you, it's very hard to help you.
There's a saying in the church world. It's without the test, you don't have the testimony, right? And the testimony is the evidence or the proof of something. Without the test, you don't have the testimony that you're a good leader. Without the test, you don't have the testimony of how to deal with difficult people. Without the test, you don't have the testimony of how to manage people who are not leveraged. Without the test, you don't have the testimony that you've been able to build a big team. See, your greatest asset is the test. That's your right now is your greatest asset. This experience is your greatest asset because 5 years from now, when you have 50 or 60 law firms that you've worked with, that you've helped to get to 8 figures, when we have a team of 50 people, when we have a full-on marketing team, when we have a full-on consulting team, and you look back and you say, we built this from the ground up to 50 people, and we built this to hundreds and hundreds of law firms around the country, the testimony will be, I've been through it, guys. I know what it's like to deal with people who are not leveraged. I know what it's like to deal with young people. I know what it's like to go through a series of having to explain everything. I know what that's like. But if everything is smooth and nobody ever dissents and nobody ever doesn't do anything, your story is, I'm Val. Everybody did exactly what I said. Everybody did exactly how I said it. And I have nothing to show you because I've never gone through the test.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? This is your great, like, I look back, me getting fired from my partnership is the single greatest thing that ever happened to me, because I had to endure 12 months of no income. I had to endure my house going into foreclosure. I had to endure my car being repossessed. I had to endure losing half of my money to my divorce. I had to endure running through my entire life savings. I had to endure getting married. The day that I got married with Rachel, I had no money in the bank, none. I had gone through every single, the last amount of money that I had, I spent on the wedding. I went through every single penny that I have to today being a millionaire again. That's the testimony of that test. And so don't reject the test. Just endure the
Wait.
test. You
Yeah.
understand?
That's the hard part. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Of course, it's the hard part. That's why most people don't get to reach the level of success that you're experiencing and will experience in the future, because they're not willing to go through that. They give up. They get to the point where they say, I just don't care anymore. And you don't have that luxury
I don't
because
have
you
that
signed up for
mindset,
this.
which is the good thing. I don't have that mindset, but at the same time, I'm like, there has to be, I'm like trying to get creative with it. I'm like, there has to be a better way to like learn or do. So I'm just trying and testing different things with the team. I'm like, all right, this time I'm going to try this, or I'm going to maneuver that way to see if we accomplish better things. And some
And
people
it's
get
all
it, some
creating your
people it takes
philosophy.
longer.
It's all creating your philosophy. It's all creating your philosophy for coaching and mentoring and development. So don't get frustrated with it. I don't necessarily reject what you're saying, other than I don't want to have to hire a bunch of people to do these admin things. I think, and I'll mention this today, we have to have a much stronger emphasis on owning your position,
Yeah.
on
I
owning
think
your
it's just
department.
learning to like, I think the main message is like owning like being proud of your work, like understanding that whatever you produce, because like back to the what's it called, the efficiency chart, like own up that I've told them two rules. I said if it's not on monday.com, it doesn't exist, and I can give you more stuff to do. And if
Mhm.
you don't put it in your efficiency chart, like I can't tell you or I can't help you if you're too busy or if you're doing things that are you're not supposed to be doing. Like for example, if I have my marketing person doing admin stuff, why are you focusing on that? Like I need your skill set on something else. Or if you're my marketing person, but you're handing off a bunch of stuff to other people and you're only proving to do 6 hours of work for 40 hours a week, like I have to be able to give you more stuff to do and for you to produce at the level that you're supposed to. But
100%.
don't be shocked when I come to you and I hand you 20 more things because you've only shown this to me. This I can only tell by the piece of paper that you write
Hmm.
that I've asked you to do. So that
Yes.
is kind of like that's what I'm gonna remind the team, and that's why I sent that email and I said, here's your accountability chart, here's the master list, here's the master for Phoenix. Like I don't want to get to last minute. I gotta have all this information. And I don't just ask you and like add more shit to your plate. Like I need you to do it so that I can determine if you need more help or if you're capable of doing more things for your department to move it forward.
The key is that you don't have the luxury of being frustrated. And you don't have that luxury. Have you ever seen me openly frustrated with anybody on the team? Like really, like me, just like, oh man, I can't believe
No. I've
that.
tried hard. I've had like two or three instances where I'm like, please just step out of my office because I am gonna blow up.
But that type of leadership is the leadership that creates an environment of fear. If people think that you're going to be openly frustrated, they're going to begin to fear you. And if they fear you, people want to work for excellent people. People will only be excellent for excellent people. People will only love to work for people who they believe love them. And when you institute fear, you lose the ability to love on people and for them to love you back. You lose the ability to create excellence in their lives and for them to create excellence back. I know you have a hard time accepting that, but the fact of the matter is, despite what people may say about me, despite what people may say about my leadership style, my work ethic, my commitment, despite what anybody says about anything that I do, I've somehow managed to build a business and now a second business that combined next year may do 45, almost $50 million, despite people rejecting the way that I lead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe that model something that has already worked. That's what I believe. Just model something that's already worked and leave it at that. And everything will work out.